Hello, everybody. Welcome to AV Geeks, a streaming event. It was supposed to be around lunchtime, but I had to run errands, so that happens. Life happens. But so I got two Father's Day films that we pulled because Sunday is Father's Day, and we like dads. So enjoy.
Every weekday morning, Ed Kimball rises early to get ready for work. Like many other people, Ed Kimball's workday starts early.
Good morning, Mom.
Good morning, Lisa.
Today can I get a new dress?
We'll see. Today's payday.
Okay.
Well, I have to go.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, Lisa.
Bye, Dad.
Why do fathers like Ed Kimball go to work? Why is work important? Let's go with Ed Kimball to his job this morning to find out.
Morning, Dave. Morning, Ed.
Someday soon, this will be a skyscraper, a tall building that rises high above the city streets. Together with hundreds of other men, Ed Kimball is helping to construct this building.
Don't use that word.
When the skyscraper is finished, many different kinds of offices and apartments will occupy the floors that Ed Kimball passes on his way to report for work. On the job, Ed spends most of his day on the top floor of the building. He and the men who work with him are called structural iron workers.
Grab my outer. Steak out? Get him happy about that, will it? Well, we'll get the floor skid back then. Good idea. Get some of the water back here.
These men use heavy pieces of steel to build the strong, solid frame that will support the finished building. Slowly, the steel columns rise from the street, lifted by a giant crane. On the top level, Ed and his fellow workers guide each column as the crane moves the 20-ton load into position. After a column has been bolted into place, Ed and his crew get ready for the next. Piece by piece, the frame of the skyscraper grows higher. Ed Kimball's work is hard and often dangerous. But he has helped build many buildings, and he has learned to do his job safely and well. It takes many different kinds of workers to build the frame of a modern skyscraper. Besides iron workers like Ed Kimball, there are welders who weld or bind the steel pieces together. Inspectors who check with delicate instruments to make sure each weld is strong. On every floor, when the steel work is finished, carpenters move in to build wooden forms and scaffolds. Next come the cement workers, some to work on the ground, others on the floors above. Each man working on the building has been trained to do one particular kind of work. Each has a special skill. On a single day, more than 500 skilled men may be working together on the job. Some men must make sure all the workers are doing their jobs well and on time. These are the bosses, the carefully chosen, more experienced workers who plan and direct the work of others. But, boss or worker, each man who helps build the skyscraper has at least one special skill. The building could never be finished unless many different skills were brought together in one place at one time. All over a big city, such as the one where Ed Kimball lives, people with many special skills work at thousands of different kinds of jobs every day. Factory workers make the things we need and use. Businessmen keep the factories busy. Policemen maintain order on the city streets. Bus drivers take people where they want to go. Truck drivers bring goods to city stores. Nurses and doctors work to help keep people well. Postmen deliver mail to all parts of the community. Some workers repair things, and others help us learn more about the world we live in. Many workers are needed to provide people in a community with the goods and services they need. The new skyscraper Ed Kimball and his fellow workers are constructing is needed. The city is crowded and growing fast. More space is needed for offices and apartments and stores. So the work that Ed and his co-workers do is important. It not only helps the community, it provides Ed Kimball with a sense of pride and achievement. Imagine what would happen if some of the workers on the skyscraper and in other parts of the city suddenly were not there to do their job. If people weren't on their jobs every day, almost all activity in the city would stop. Work, then, is important because a whole community depends on it to meet people's needs. But people themselves depend on work, too. Every Friday afternoon, when Ed Kimball leaves his job with the rest of his crew, he receives a paycheck. This means he is paid money for the work he did during the week. With the money that he takes home, he can buy many of the things he and his family need. At the Kimball's house, payday is just a little different from other days. After dinner, the Kimbells decide on what things they really need to buy.
Think we can get Lisa to dress?
I think we can, Ed. We made the car payment this week.
Good.
On most Saturdays, the whole Kimball family goes shopping. Visiting the stores is fun when you're planning to buy something special. It's almost as much fun just to look at some of the things you don't intend to buy.
1,200, what?
Half off for the price.
Oh, real fast. We can get everybody on that, too.
Everyone?
Sure, that's really nice. Isn't it?
The whole family?
Sure, everybody could fit on that.
Occasionally, when he can afford it, Ed Kimball may surprise a member of the family.
Isn't that nice? Oh, come on, we'll buy it.
New football helmet, huh?
For my boy.
You need a cash plate, please.
Just cash, please. Like it?
6.29 out of 10.
Finally, the last stop the Kimbells make, the supermarket, is the most important one. For the Kimball children don't have to have a football helmet or a fancy new dress. But the family does need food, groceries. Ed Kimball is proud of his family, and he's proud of the fact that he can buy for them all of the things they need and many of the things they want. This is one of the reasons why work is important to Ed. By using his special skills, Ed Kimball is able to make a living for himself and his family. His work also provides him with a sense of pride and achievement. There are countless workers like Ed Kimball all over the country. Countless fathers at work. Men who do useful work to help their communities prosper and grow. Some of these workers will help finish the skyscraper that Ed and his fellow workers have started. In time, when their children grow up, they too will have jobs and go to work to provide themselves and their families with food, clothing, and the many other things people everywhere need and want.
Hello. Hi. So that was Why Fathers Work, Encyclopedia Britannica, and I feel like they were working on the John Hancock building, not the Sears Tower, but the John Hancock building. I'll rewind this film while we're talking. I'm Skip Elsheimer. In case you don't know, it seems like there's a lot of people that do know me that are watching. So I have, you can see behind you, a telecine, which is allowing me to transfer reels of 16 millimeter film live, and I'm streaming it to you via Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And every month I do a show. It's like 2 hours long, themed show. But this summer I decided, because I have so many films, to actually try to have like a weekly screening. And the idea was to do it around lunch, but you know, life happens, so it didn't work out to do it at lunch, so I'm doing it now. So I apologize for some of you who might be seeing this later. So that was Why Fathers Work, and again, we're showing films about fathers. And the next film, Wince Rewinds. I'll go ahead and type it up while we're talking. Yeah, we'll try to do this, like I said, every Friday, if it takes off. And this will give us an opportunity, if I do shorter programs, and I might be able to put together themed things where I only have 2 films that work. So, Father's films I have a lot, but it just seems like this would be a great time to do this. This next film is animated. I have not seen this one, actually. I'm just going based on like the description that I got off the internet, so hopefully this will work. I mean, the title is My Dozen Fathers, and so we'll see. I'll stand by in case it gets racy, racist, or whatever. That doesn't usually happen with educational films. So threading up to 16. This last film was very stinky vinegar. So its days are numbered. So I'm happy to get it out in the world in some regard. This one's got some issues. Looks like some sprocket perf damage. So, so enjoy My Dozen Fathers. Have to type in the title. Enjoy.
I know my hair is a real mess, but if Mom's always in such a rush... So who do my hair anyway?
Wow. Okay. So when you go by the title of a film, it doesn't always tell you what the film is about. And so My Dozen Fathers is not really about a girl with a dozen fathers. It's about a girl's mother who likes the company of men. Let's say that. Seems to be interested in courting many gentlemen after her separation, divorce. Which is pretty hilarious. I'm going to go ahead and rewind it. Yeah. But what's so great about Czech animation, a lot of foreign animation, is it's wacky and it can be super stylized. The music is always really strange. Little to no narration. The idea was it would play in foreign markets, so they didn't want to have a lot of versions that were translated where they had to have actors redo it because that's just cost a lot of money. But yikes. Really pretty stuff, and it's almost like, I don't know, I could be wrong, it looked like there was different styles there, so maybe they had different animators working on it, on different sections, on different fathers sections, but there's some great stuff there, and that's why we do this. We pull the films, we watch them, because we've never seen them before. So I got one last film before we call it Friday. Some people ask me sometimes, like, well, how did you get started in this? Like, what was the impetus? And I have lots of different variations on the theme of the myth of how AV Geeks got started. Where do I look back in my childhood? Was there something? And I gotta say that, there were times I was interested in film or video or whatever, and then started collecting old stuff and started going to auctions and getting equipment that way. And I think it was like 10,000 films into the collection, and I found this film, and it resonated with me, and I was like, wait a minute, I know this film, because my father showed it to my class when I was like in the 5th or 6th grade, and the film is Get High on Life. My father was a drug educator for the county's mental health department, so he's going around to all the schools, and he wasn't like, this is before DARE, and this is before like he wasn't showing the scary films. He didn't feel like the drug scare films were going to work because teenagers consider themselves to be invincible, and so they would just ignore and laugh. And so his take on this drug education was like, yes, these drugs can make you feel good, but there's other ways to feel good, and the other ways are often more longer lasting and less detrimental, and certainly not illegal. So this film, Get High on Life, he brought in a 16 millimeter projector, and he set it up in front of my friends, and he showed the film. And so I totally had forgotten about that. Was that one of the impetuses? Maybe. I don't know. I certainly got a lot from my father, who I care for greatly. He certainly he nurtured this crazy hobby that I was developing. He was like, kind of like shaking his head and is like, that's interesting. And he kind of got it. But, he didn't say like, Skip, you're crazy. So, kudos to him for being there, and maybe even planting one of the many seeds that became AV Geeks in weird ways. Sarah, did you know that story?
No, that's cool.
So my assistant, one of my assistants is here. I'm going to do the camera over, and she's doing shot list stuff. So she was my intern for the spring, and she is doing work for me in the summer. So you might see her again. I'm also getting my nephew. I'm trying to pass the torch to my nephew and get him excited about old school films. Although, I don't know. It might be hard. So anyways, this is last film we're going to show today. And if you're in the Raleigh-Durham area, I'm doing a lot of shows coming up. I recommend going to the AV Geeks Facebook page. There's a bunch of events. I'm actually going to Richmond, Virginia as well, and doing a show called AV Geeks versus the Virginia Board of Education, and it's films made in Virginia, school films made in Virginia, and some of them are outrageous. What else am I doing? Doing a bike show, and then I think I'm doing a streaming event for Incredibly Strange Film Facebook group, and that's going to be an evening event. There's a lot of stuff going on. And then at King's, I'm doing something. It's those mischievous girls. So anyways, back to showing films. Thanks, guys, for spending your afternoon with me. And I'll come back and say bye, but here we go. Here's Get High on Life.
With the sun, it's a beautiful morning. Come out and play. Breezes to blow, meadows to climb, it's our day. It's our day. And there's so much of life we've never lived, so much of life that life can give, so much of life. Get high on Flowers of fragrance, love is their message. We've so much to give. Arm in arm walks in summer rain, it's our day. It's our and there's so much of life we've never lived, so much to give for man to live, so much of life. Get high on awakening moments for hopes to come true, a lifetime of things yet to do. Taking life's chances, looking for answers, it's our day. It's our day.
And there's so much of life we've never lived, so much of life that life can give, so much of life. Get high on life.
City's life, solitary day in a quiet way. It's our day. It's our day.
And there's so much of life we never lived, so much to give for man to live, so much of life. Get high on life. so much of life. Get high on life. Get high on There will be sun to a treasure day, but there'll be more to come. A new breeze to blow, more meadows to climb. It's our day. It's our day. And there's so much of life we've never lived. So much of life that life can give. So much of life. Get high on life. There will be sun to a treasure day. There'll be more to come. A new breeze to blow, more meadows to climb. It's our day. It's our day. And there's so much of life we've never lived. So much of life that life can give. So much of life. Get high on 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 life.
Wow. So I actually got to show this film again to my dad. We did a Father's Day show at a micro cinema that I do stuff at in Houston, Texas, and I flew my dad out because we did a Father's Day event. And the woman, this was Aurora Picture Show, the woman Andrea Grover, she invited her dad out, so we both had our dads in the audience, and I busted this film out and showed it to my dad. So, yeah, as a lot of you noticed, it's hippy-dippy, but it's, as they say, it is a positive approach to the narcotics problem. The film encompasses a day from dawn to dusk, with each time period corresponding to life, from birth to old age. So it's got a positive message. And certainly, I think that people would respond to this instead of the scare films. Although my assistant, Kayshawn, noticed, he said, that this film would have worked for me because he was a dare baby. But we still get people talking about a film that they saw more than 30 years ago, probably 40 years ago at this point, that traumatized them so much that they were like, I'm never doing drugs. That film, of course, is Dead is Dead, which we have in our collection finally. And that film is outrageous. It is totally scare film. Very unique thing, as Godfrey Cambridge, the comedian, talking about his loss of two friends who overdosed. So yeah, so Get High in Life. This film I showed, and the other films I showed because of it's related to Father's Day, which is coming up Sunday. And this last film, Get High in Life, my father showed to my class in the 5th or 6th grade in rural North Carolina. And maybe the image of him wheeling an AV cart with a 60mm projector and showing a film. Because our class, we didn't see a lot of films in our class, only like on holidays. Or when we had a special guest. Maybe that imprinted in my head, and that's why I'm got 25,000 films in a boarding house in the middle of Raleigh, North Carolina. I don't know. There's other things, but you know, I'm sure it didn't hurt. But the other thing is, we do this because we like you to watch and comment, and so thank you so much for tuning in and commenting. Lots of stuff coming up. Go to the AV Geeks Facebook page. You'll learn more. We'll do another streaming event on Friday. It might be super short, kind of a test thing. We'll see. Anyways, everybody have a good weekend. Call your dad up and tell him you love him, even if you don't. I will talk to you soon. Everybody have a good weekend. Bye.